Why do you think your dad decided to share his story?
I think he decided to share it because not very once because he had the opportunity to actually speak out, and then second one because it's like him and my family always says we never get the opportunity to actually let people know how it was living in a ranch. It's like people always think like, oh, it's so nice living in the ranch. You have all these benefits. You have all this to do. You have a place to live without having to pay rent. And my dad says, well, yeah, we had a place to live. He's like, but what other people don't see is the way we actually live. The people that live there, people just think that, oh, you're getting this from your boss or you're getting that. He's like, but you really don't know how they're being treated while living there.
You worked on the Mendoza Ranch,
Yes,
and that's B Ranch.
yes.
Okay. What year did you start?
I'm starting 1989.
1989.
Yeah.
And when were you let go?
Um, 2009.
2009.
Yeah.
So, like 20 years, roughly.
Yeah.
And what was it like during those 20 years?
Oh, I milk the cows. So when I milk the cows for maybe 16 years. So when I finish milk the cows, I feed the calves. So when I not feed the calves, I have my boss for fix the cows. Sometimes when the cow's sick, I have my boss for put the medicine in the vein. Or sometimes when I got a problem in the legs, I put a bands and everything.
Okay, so you helped when the cows were sick. You helped deliver the cows.
Yes,
You helped milk the cows.
yes.
You helped with fences.
Fences and I use the tractor for scrape the barns.
To scrape the barns.
Yes,
To clean the
clean
manure.
the manures. Yeah, and put a sand in the beds for the cows. The place for the sleep. I put a sand for the cows sleep in there.
Sand.
Sand. Yeah,
So you basically did anything and everything that was needed.
everything. Yes.
Okay. How many hours a week did you?
Um, I'm not sure. I think it's 8 hours per day.
So you worked 5 days a week, 6 days a week.
Yeah. All the time. So I got my 1 day off for week.
You had 1 day off a week.
Yes.
You worked 8 hours a day.
Yes.
Okay. So you worked a 48-hour work
I
week.
think 40. Yeah.
And how much were you paid?
When I started and the first time when I started there, so the guys paid me maybe $814 for a month. Yeah,
$814.
because when the all the time when these guys paid me the 15 $400, and the second check my $416, something like that. $816 for a month.
For a 48-hour work week,
Yes,
all month.
yes.
What about vacation days?
The vacation. I think 1 week for a year.
1 week a year.
Yes.
Paid?
Sometimes when I know got my vacation, sometimes that guy can pay. Yeah, my day, the days.
I want to clarify that. He got paid vacation?
He got, so for example, they would work them, but he would already have like, it was like, kind of like on salary, you know how you get paid regardless of the hours?
Okay.
So it's kind of like that.
Okay. All right.
And they would get paid that much because from what they would get paid, it would get deducted because they would give them like for rent and everything there. So it would include like living. So that's why their check was so low.
Okay. And you also lived on the ranch,
Yes,
and you lived there with your family.
yes.
Okay. What was that like?
Okay, so and my house all the time I got a problems in my house because sometimes I got a lot of rats in there. So a lot of holes for the rats, and the heater is no good,
No,
and the stove.
no heater?
It's got a heater, but the heater is no good.
Okay.
Sometimes work, sometimes no. And the stove, the freezer, it's no good too. So all the time when I told my boss I need the refrigerator for the food, sometimes met because I need a new I need a refrigerator for put the food for my family.
So you couldn't store your food, and when you explained that, he would get mad.
Yes, yes, and met all the time. Not sometimes I talk a lot of times and not listen, not listen. So sometimes when I come to the Peraluma and I buy some, I pay for the refrigerators, because I need it I need for put the food for my family. Yeah, because sometimes the my boss no want to buy, I pay for the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Because I need it for my family.
And did you say rot, like rotten wood?
Yes, It's got a lot of rats in there and a lot of holes. Sometimes when my family sleep, sometimes the skunk got a peep, and sometimes then the gotta be holes in the bottle. It's a lot of smell for the skunks.
So there were skunks under the house.
Yeah.
Because there were holes in the floor.
Yeah,
of the
and
house,
when the gotta peep,
could smell
the
the
smell. Yeah.
So you had big holes in the floor.
Yeah.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
Dangerous holes.
Yeah. Yes.
You saying from rats or from rot?
From rot and
Rot.
from the rats. Like
And-
they would make the holes.
Did you ever witness your dad talking to the boss?
Oh, yes.
And did you ever witness him trying to plead for better conditions?
I remember him, he was actually cussing my dad out once because my dad had told them, because we're all scared of the rats. So I remember my dad telling him, that I had to get rid of my living room because there was rats living in there and it's my new living room. And I remember him being so pissed, he told my dad, well, if you don't like it, you can leave. I believe I was around 11.
You had so many rats that they destroyed the living room?
They destroyed my mom's couches. They made their way into the couch, and I remember my dad opened it here, and there was actually like a nest from the rats.
And your mom purchased those couches?
Yes.
So you guys had to provide the furniture?
Oh, yes.
So
The furniture, or when, like, for example, like my dad explained, when the fridges would break down, my dad would come over to like Goodwill or yard sales, and he would look for a new refrigerator.
Because the boss wasn't going to replace
He wouldn't replace it.
If the wood was that rotten and there were rats running around,
Yeah.
wasn't
Yes.
there a danger of falling through?
Yes, because the floor is too loose and the house. Sometimes when I walk, sometimes the floor down.
And what did your boss say if you told him about that?
When I told the boss was mad all the time. That guy is not going to fix nothing. Yeah, when I talk, that guy say, please, I want you to fix something. That guy's mad. Sometimes this is why I don't talk to him a lot. Sometimes I don't want to talk to this guy because that guy is mad all the time.
And you weren't alone. Your family was living with you.
Yes.
So your children were living in these conditions.
Yes.
And were there any health problems?
Ye-
Concerns for the children?
My son's got a lot of asthma. So all the time, I don't know. I think this is the problem because sometimes the house is looking ugly, a lot of rubs, and my son is. This is why it's a lot of sick.
Tell me about the skunks and the floorboards. That's interesting.
Oh, I remember like our living room, I believe you would walk and you could kind of like, if you walk to, my mom would always tell us, walk safe because if you guys walk too fast, you guys are going to go down there. So we kind of already knew where it was like, we had to be careful where to step.
Rotten floorboards.
Yes.
That you could fall through.
Yes.
And you guys tell me something earlier about a stairwell?
It was actually one of my cousins. They kept telling Joe to fix it because somebody was gonna fall because they were rotten, the stairways, and they kept ignoring it until my cousin actually fell through the stairs. I believe she was probably
through the stairs?
She fell down on the stairs. It was maybe like 10 stairs to go up to their house, but she fell when she was getting towards the bottom. But I believe they called the paramedics just to check her out because she was like around 8 or 9 years old when that happened.
Oh, a little kid fell through a floorboard.
No, not through the stairs, like coming in out of their house.
But the step itself.
Oh, the step. She went through the stairs.
It's not like she stumbled down. She
no. She
it.
fell through it because of the stairway being so. They were rotten. They were old. In one of the trailers.
Tell me about your family. How many people were living there?
Just I got this time when I live in there, so I got my 4 babies and my wife and me. See, so all the time I got this problem. So I live in there. Because I needed work.
Yeah.
Because I want to buy food for my babies. This is why I stay in there. So now my family is more big. My daughters are married already, so it's more better now.
Yeah.
But when I live in there, so I got a lot of problems. In this ranch. So I stay in there in this ranch because I needed work for my family.
It was desperation.
So,
yeah.
So basically, he's always told us this every time we tell him about working in a ranch. He says the only reason I ever stayed in a ranch was because it was the only way for me to actually, having such a big family, being able to have, even though it wasn't a decent place, I was the only way to be able to provide you guys somewhere to buy food. He's like, because everything you guys were smaller, it was diapers and everything. He's like, but I would never ever work back in a ranch.
So you're there with your family.
Yes.
And so you have a growing family, and you're there 20 years.
Yes.
And then suddenly no more job.
So I'm sleep in the night. So in the morning when I say I go work, in the morning I see all the trucks in there, the big trucks, and I see that guy start put all the cows in the truck, and I'm scared. I say, oh, what happened? So I'm scared because I say, oh my God, it's no more job. And I got my family. This is why I'm scared, because I say, well, I don't know where I go now. Because I got my family, I don't got a job, and I'm scared. I'm crying. Yeah, I'm crying because I work a lot of time in this place, and I don't got a job fast, and I'm scared, yeah.
And your first sign was seeing the trucks.
Yeah.
You had to figure it out for yourself.
Yes.
That you didn't have a job anymore.
No, it's no more. No
so
more.
Then you went and asked?
No, when I see the trucks in this morning, so I no more job. So only put the cows in the trucks and the cows going, and no more work in there. My boss say, hey, that's it, because no cows, nothing in there. They said, and these guys give me 3 weeks, and for moving, I move. I look all around for the ranch, and I no got a job, and I go to the motel, and I pay a lot of money for my family for stay, the motel.
Because all of a sudden, you not only didn't have a job.
No job,
you didn't have a home for yourself or your.
Exactly, no house for my family. Yeah, so this is why I stay in the motel. Yeah, and later was looking for I'm starting to help somebody Sundays, and so now I got in my job in the landscaping. I help somebody, so I'm better now.
Yeah, but that took some time.
Yeah.
I think it took him about 3 years to actually be able to get stable, because he actually bought the camping house, and he took it out in Point Reyes. But the conditions it was in, I remember it was all 4 of us sleeping in one of the little beds, and I remember it would leak through and everything.
Yeah.
It was so hard.
I moved to Point Reyes. I live in the trailer. So sometimes when I not got a place for my family, so my brother give me one trailer, a small trailer for. Say, hey brother, I got this trailer for your family. So this trailer is no good. When the rain, it's a lot of leakage in the bed and all around. I put a lot of things, the buckets, all the place for the water no split, so the water stay in the buckets.
It's
She's,
a challenging time to be raising a family, huh?
yeah.
And my mom had just suffered from her stroke. She didn't walk. She didn't move. She was
Yeah, I got a lot of problems. Yes, this time when I move, it's not easy for me. It's not easy for me because I got problems to my wife, and I got a job, and my head sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I say, oh my gosh, maybe I want to go someplace and I forget my family, but no, it's not right.
Right.
I've stayed because my family need me, you know. Yeah, I got to. I'm trying this time when I move, and when I move to the ranch, so I'm throwing a lot of beers and tequila because I want to forget everything. But I say, oh Jesus Christ, my wife's sick, and my family need me. Say no way, more better. I stay.
How much were you getting paid when you left after 20 years? How much were you?
More.
Yeah.
So that guys when I started, that guys pay me when I started 816 something like that. When later that guys pay me maybe 11, I think 1100 or $1,200 for
11 or 1200 a month.
yes.
Still working 48-hour weeks,
Yes.
6 days a week,
Yes. Because I off one day for a week. Yeah.
and still only 1 week of vacation per year
Yes, for year. Yeah.
after 20 years of service.
Yes.
And I'm gonna guess you didn't have health benefits.
No.
Is this typical? Is this how most of the people working out there are treated?
Yes.
I mean, what you're describing is illegal treatment of employees. Are they can't legally treat you that way. So my question is, are they targeting certain people? Are the ranches targeting certain employees? And how do they find people that they can exploit? If you want to
So lo que él dice es que como están targeteando como, por ejemplo, como nomás agarran gente que no tienen papeles o que es tan fácil que cómo agarran a sus trabajadores.
That guy, yeah, when I stay in this rancho stay more than 20 something like that, 20 years. So it's a lot of new guys working in the ranch. So that guys when I go looking for the job, so the boss only say, hey, you guys, I need only one social security number. Yeah, any numbers, give me the numbers, and you guys got the job. That's it. And that guys started working there. Yeah.
I don't think none of the workers actually there had their papers and orders.
How does that happen? Is that an accident, or is there some sort of a system where they actually funnel in these people into the ranches?
I feel like they do because, like my dad explained, they don't ask you for much when you go. It's just more like bring me anything with the social and you have a job. And it's like I tell my dad now, I'm like, if you look at it, most of these workers that live out there don't have an actual social. They're not legal to be here.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So how did your dad have a social?
He didn't have one.
So what did he show?
He told my dad go get something that shows any social.
So it was fake,
So it was a fake one.
and he didn't really care.
He didn't care. He just said bring me one. So I feel like this happens with most of the workers that live out in those ranches. Because I know some of them that lived out in the first Nunez Ranch, I believe only 2 of them that lived there were actually, they fixed papers throughout the time. So most of the workers out at the ranches aren't legal. There's only a very few.
But they're actually paid with a paycheck.
Yes.
So there's records to be found of payment
Mm-hmm.
to illegal citizens.
Yes.
Interesting.
So now what my dad did after he left from there, he actually got his ITIN number. Because my dad said, I don't want to be working like that. He's like, because I want to be able to be legal and better myself and find a good job.
I just remembered something that your dad said, that they took taxes out
Yes,
for someone that wasn't receiving
that
benefits
wasn't
as a citizen.
correct.
So I not talk too many things to my boss because I got my babies, small, the little babies, and I don't want to talk to my boss. I don't want my boss mad because sometimes when I tell my boss, hey, something wrong, something wrong, something like that, and this guy mad, and sometimes that guy told me a lot of times, you know, want to stay in here, go. And this guy told me, this is why I'm scared, and say, oh, Jesus, my boss mad. I don't want to go because I need to work. I need a money for my family because my family is when babies. I need to work. This is why I'm scared. Sometimes this is why I don't say nothing. More better. I leave all the things like okay. Tell my boss, you don't want to fix the things. Okay, forget it. I don't want to make because sometimes all the time say you told me a lot of times. So you don't want to stay in here? You don't want to work with me? Go. You want to go? Go. Sometimes when my boss told me like that, I'm scared. I say, oh my God, when I go, where do I go? Because I got my family, you know. This is why I'm relaxed and no talk too many things. The boss, yeah.
When you say boss, who is the boss?
The, because in these times you got it two boss. This is the father and the son. The father is Mr. Joe.
Joe Mendoza.
Joe Mendoza. And the son is Joey.
Joey Mendoza.
Yeah. Yeah. So when the first the mother, you know, because the Joe's wife, this is die first. And maybe in 2 months the Joe died too.
Oh.
And when the Joe died, is the Joey stay in the ranch. He say, oh shit, I can't leave the cows. More better I'll sell it. Okay, you the boss. Because say, hey, my father's not here. I can't work in the cows no more. This is why the guy sell the cows.
But now they have cows again?
Yeah. So when the son, Joey, when die, maybe when in the year, the son Joey re-put the cows back.
I wonder if they're leasing to someone else. I wonder if the family is subleasing.
That's what we were actually looking at that too, and weren't able to find out.
Okay. Did you have friends at the other ranches?
Oh yeah. Yeah, sons. You know, in the place when I lived before in the ranch, my nephew lived in there. Yeah.
Now,
Yes.
your nephew lives where you used to live.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Huh. Is he doing what you used to do?
Yeah.
Your nephew basically has your job?
Yes, my nephew got my job. My job got at me before,
So they got rid of the old guy and hired the new guy?
and then I think this is the problem. This is why my boss is say, "Hey, I want to sell the cows because I don't know, maybe that guy want to move the old guys and leave the young guys in there. I don't know.
What about the other ranches? Do you
This is the same. This is the same. Yeah, and the other ranch got the same thing.
Oh, they fired everyone?
Yeah, because in the Mendoza ranch, when this guy saw the cows, so all the old guys, me and the other guys go out, and when I put the cows back, that my nephew stay in there, in the ranch, the Nunez ranch, the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the guys moved the old people.
Nunez and Mendoza are tight.
Yeah, tight. Yeah, and Espalera.
Spalletta, yeah.
Espalera is first, Mendoza and Nunez is tight. Yeah.
Somewhat related, I believe.
Yeah.
Also are the
Yeah, and the Nunez ranch, this is the same thing. That guy say, oh, this guy sold the cows, So these old guys go out and the young guys stay in there. I don't know. This is the same problem. I don't know.
How many trailers were there? How many families were there?
Trailers, there was, I believe, two, but houses, there was two, probably around 10.
Really?
Yeah, because there was in the houses, because the ranch is pretty big itself. So they have over once you're getting up to the curves going to the other ranch, it's two houses. Then where the barn is at, it's two houses. And over by where the owners have their house, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 houses. So it was around 5, 6, 7, 8, like around 9 houses.
And and in all those houses, or almost all those houses, it's workers such as.
Oh yeah.
Are the actual Mendoza family out there?
They had their house out there. They lived there.
They actually live there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so did their son.
Okay.
Across, I didn't include those two houses.
Well, they have other property in Marin County, so I wondered if they lived somewhere else and just visit the ranch.
Oh no, they lived there.
They there.
Because over in the other properties that they had, I think their daughter lived in one, which now she has a ranch over in Tamales as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And do the families actually work the ranch?
No. I mean, they would go and check on the workers.
They supervise.
They're supervised, but they weren't actually physically the ones milking or going out and fixing a fence. Or the only time that I would actually, as a child, remember seeing them was when they were delivering the heifers, when the cows were having the babies. They would go out there and definitely make sure that the workers were helping the cows deliver the baby if it was having a difficult time.
Mm-hmm.
Or when the vets would go and the cows would get their shots and stuff. I remember them seeing them because we live right where the barn was at.
I don't think we fit the stroke into your dad's interview. So while you were living out there, your mom had some health problems?
Yes. The year in 2009 when we were actually asked that they were closing the ranch, I believe it was around June. It was around July because I believe it was June when they told my dad. My mom suffered her stroke in April. And I had just turned 18 actually. And when they told my dad, I remember I started looking for a job, and I actually worked at Marin, the Palace Market. And I started doing cashier and stuff because I wanted to help out my dad because my mom suffered from her stroke, and she was the one that would work as well. And she had her stroke. She couldn't walk. She was just sitting in her wheelchair. So that all happened to my dad in 2009.
That's a tough year.
So it was definitely hard for our family. And it was hard for us because I remember, especially for my siblings, because they would tell my siblings, like, oh, you guys got fired. You guys have nowhere to go. So for us, it was really hard from going from such a big house and all of us having our own room to being piled up in a little camping, like what do you call them? It's like there was a 1-bedroom little camping house.
Mm-hmm.
So it was hard for us as children always, oh, your dad doesn't have nowhere to go. Or it was hard for my dad especially because he was always the one that did anything to have us happy or a place to live or food. And at that time, he didn't have a job. My mom needed all the help with her medication. Financially, my dad was having a hard time after losing his job.
And it took how long before he?
Probably roughly around 3 years for him to actually get a little bit more stable and find a bigger place for us to live. Because at the same time, he was also having a hard time with alcohol after losing his job. And like he mentioned, at that time, he just wanted to give up on life. And he tells us now, he's like, that happened, he's like, I didn't know just to leave or what to do. He's like, because at that time I felt like I failed on you guys as my children. So it was very hard.
And did you say when they said, "Hey, your dad doesn't have a job," are you saying that you were being teased?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
We were being teased like by, for example, my little brother. He was 9 years old, and all the other kids like at the ranches were like, "Oh, you guys have nowhere to live, or you guys are living in a camping trailer, or your dad had to build a little room," and kids are kids, and they tell each other everything. So, oh, when it rains, because I remember when it would rain, my dad and my mom would have like buckets. I remember at a point like where we had one in our bed where we were sleeping in the trailer because it was so bad, but that was the only place that we were able to live for a while.
And when you say the other ranches, do you mean the ranches in the Point Reyes Peninsula or in all?
It was all in the kids. Most of the kids that went to the same school we did too.
So Marin County.
In Marin County.
Not just from there.
Oh no, it was like other kids from there. Like, oh, my mom told me you guys don't have a place to live.
So the ranch kids knew who the other ranch kids
Oh
were.
yeah, because we all basically grew up since we were kids, or we knew each other from parties or from church. So mostly all the ranchers, all the workers from the ranches know each other.
Got it. How many people is that?
At the ranches?
Yeah.
Roughly every ranch has around 8 to 10 houses.
And this is common in the rest of Marin County.
It wasn't just with Mendoza's. I feel like it has happened to many. As I lived there, I remember my parents saying, "Oh, this ranch closed," but then a year or so later, they were really never closed.
Right.
It's just like they would get rid of their employees and bring younger employees. Like for example, where my dad was at, they said, "Oh, we're closing," but they didn't completely close because they still kept. They said, "Oh, we're turning it into a chicken ranch," and they had chickens for about a year, while they brought in all new cows and said, "Oh, we're turning it organic." But they kept some, I believe, 2 of the workers there, which is my dad's nephew and then one of my mom's brother-in-laws.
Do you ever talk to your dad's nephew?
Not really. He used to be like my dad. They would stay quiet, but then after he fixed his papers and the owner knew, like, he kept him there. So now he's more like, "Oh, well, I have papers and I'm here at the ranch." So, and I said, "You know what? They kind of stopped talking because he was always like, "Well, they kept me and now I have papers and they let you go because you don't have them."
Yeah.
So my dad said, "You know what? I don't need that negative stuff right now." So right now they're actually kind of having that same feeling my dad had when they had him leave at the ranch when they closed down, because my aunt has been asking my mom, like, "Oh, what do you guys need to find a place to live? We've never rented, and I think they're going to be closing the ranch soon."
Really?
And my cousin who lives at the McClure's,
yeah,
they were actually just told 2 days ago that the ranch will be closing soon, and they have 2 months to look for a place.
And did you say Kehoe as well, or?
Kehoe has talked to McClurk's. They were talking about, because they claim that they have no water for the animals.
Oh, right.
So they said, we have to start looking for a place as well. They had just moved in there 3 months ago.
Interesting.
And they just told them 2 days ago.
So McClure and Kehoe are supposedly shutting down.
Mm-hmm.
But it might be like last time, a fake shutdown.
I think so.